Hey, Lisa. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Another episode of She builds, she owns, she invests, she is me. She's all of us building not just well, but working on every single aspect of our lives. So, welcome to another episode. We have a jam packed session today. We have an amazing speaker that Candace invited one of her friends that she met at one of these events at the family office. So that's why it's so important to network. So we're super, super excited. I'll share a little bit about us and and then we are gonna bring up our speaker because we have so many great questions for her. So a little bit about us. We are on a mission to help 1 million women create wealth through real estate while fostering personal, professional, and spiritual growth. So thank you for everybody who has joined that mission. And we gather the first and the third Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. Central. We have different speakers who add value on at least one of those pillars that are important for us. So join us. And of course, we're live on Facebook and other platforms, Spotify, podcasts, and all that. So, wherever you're listening, thank you so much for being with us. A little disclaimer: we are a real estate investment firm. Every investment has risk. Every speaker that we have offers different products or services, and we invite them because we love what they do, the contribution that they do to society, to women especially. However, we do not endorse any of them. Well, she was brought to you by Massive Capital. We are a real estate investment firm. We have, for one side, we do multifamily deals, and we also do new construction for retail centers. And we are vertically integrated. We have the equity fund, we have a triple net brokerage, the property management, the land development, the triple net construction, and we also have massive masters for people who want to be active. Instead of investing by their own deals, we take them pretty much under the wing to build all kind of commercial real estate. So if that's something that you're interested, reach out to any of us and we will be more than happy to talk about that. We have a sponsor, Skyline Title. So if you are transactioning in real estate, you also need a good title company that knows what they're doing and can help you have a smooth transaction. So reach out to Skyline, one of our sponsors. And a little bit about us. We have a property tour. We love teaching. If you haven't noticed that, but it's different when we're walking our assets and when we talk about the things that we have done. So if you are in Dallas Fort Worth area, reach out to us because we're gonna have a property tour on June 19 from 3 to 4 p.m. Walking this property and telling you the good, the bad, of the ugly of dealing with this property and managing this property. So super, super excited. If you're in the area, reach out to me and I'll be happy to assist you. She goes to everywhere we get invited. We love to host events, co-host events. These are some events that we have had in the past, but we also super excited for upcoming events. I don't know if you guys see, but we're going to Dubai. We're co-hosting an event in Dubai, so a little nice. Super excited for that one. And just really quick, one of my favorite slides is talking about why we invest in real estate. Number one is the cash flow. It's always important to have several streams of income, and don't worry, whatever, if we're growing our business, raising a family, or just traveling the world, whatever we're doing, it's important to always have income and have different sources of income. So cash flow is very important. Long-term appreciation. The average woman keeps 81% of their wealth in cash would lose value over time. So that was me. I was just saving my money. I didn't know what to do. And I said, while I figure something out, what I'm gonna do with my money, I'm gonna buy a piece of real estate and back, never look back. I just want, the reason why I did it was because I just wanted to make something with my money. I was making 0.01% in the bank, and also of course, everything, the recession and everything that is happening in the market doesn't help either. So just long-term appreciation. There's no real estate that on today's market price is lower than it was 5 or 3 years ago, 10 years ago. So it's always appreciating. The average, 43% more women have career breaks, as I said, because we choose, or sometimes it's unexpected, either growing families, taking care of elderly parents, or just decide to take a break from corporate America, from business. It is important to don't do it just as women. Most of the time we try to do everything on our own and try to have our hands on everything. But on real estate, is a team sport, and we gotta leverage everybody. Everybody has different talents, superpowers, and it's a network. So everybody adds value in different ways. The diversification is another very, very important part on real estate, because using real estate, there are so many ways where we can invest our money, from land development. There's so many assets where we can invest. What I like to tell people is really understand what you need, because every investor thinks they need something, but in reality, we need other things, right? We need to diversify to take cash flow, but also we need tax benefits. We also need some long play assets like trophy assets. So different areas and different assets offer different benefits. So it's important to diversify and, of course, to mitigate the risk. The last but not least is the tax benefits. It doesn't matter how much money you make, but how much money you can keep. So that's it is important to just talk to your CPA that understands real estate investments and can advise you on where and how invest your money, so at the end of the year you don't pay a lot of taxes. All right, Candace, I know you connected with Lisa, and I would love for you to introduce her and talk a little bit about how you met her and all that.
Yeah, Lisa and I got to know each other through the family office. She does a lot of work with the folks that are part of the club, and she actually has a fantastic book that she shared with all of us in Beverly Hills at the last meeting that our little club's a part of. And Richard Wilson has her often introducing and hosting panels. So I was super excited to have her come on our program and share her book, The Bad Bitch Empire. And she is a U.S. national champion, an author, a founder of this book and her empire. And we're super excited to have her this evening. So, Lisa, we're happy to have you.
Excited to be here.
Welcome, Lisa. We're super excited to have you. So tell us a little bit about your journey. You have a very fantastic journey, from the Hall of Fame gymnastic to the venture capitalist. Tell us a little bit about what happened on your mindset and how that growth happened.
So, as background, I was a gymnast on the USA national team. I was national champion for 4 of those years, world championship team, Pan American Games champion, and 2008 Olympic alternate. And, that was a decade-long career from 9 to 19, and really shaped the type of woman and human that I am, in terms of my determination, the diligence, the precision, and also the perfectionism. which has its good and its bad, but it's, one of the key things I talk about within breaking free of good girl brainwashing. And I grew up as a good girl. I grew up as a good, obedient, perfectionist, people pleasing good girl. And that's kind of the double-edged sword of going after the perfect 10. You learn how to listen to authority, you learn how to obey, you become very coachable, but at the same time, you're also learning to be a perfectionist. And I'll say some of the good things I learned, and the most important lesson I learned as a gymnast was the ability to fall and get back up again. So there's nothing quite like falling on your face in front of thousands of people, literally feeling the pain, physical pain, the embarrassment, the shame, the disappointing your family, your coaches and friends, and then just finding the strength within to say, put a smile on my face, get back up, and the show must go on even better than when it started. And that's the exact mentality that you need as an entrepreneur to be a successful investor, because we know that it's not the good times that make you, it's the failures and the falls and how you get back up that really defines how successful you are, and how far you really go in any sort of career, entrepreneur, investor, or really anything else. And so that was really that's how I approach things when it comes to building, when it comes to investing. After that, I went into Wall Street and I worked for a $15 billion hedge fund doing long-short equity, and realized very quickly that I hated people telling me what to do. And I especially did not like men or mediocre men telling me what to do. And I thought, if I could have creative freedom, I could make so much more impact. I could make so much more money. And I would also care, the passion and the purpose. And so I ended up building my company, She Works, my previous company that was all about helping female founders fundraise. We had membership, we had events and summits. We had the data to help support women, the coaching. So we helped women raise about 50 million in funding. And that company was acquired in 2019 by a unicorn fintech company. And from there, I became a angel investor. So I was making investments in female-led businesses, and I realized, it would be so much more powerful to do it with a group of women. And that's when Bad Bitch Empire was really born. And we launched a venture fund with 99% female LPs, and most of them were first-time female LPs investing together into the next generation of female-led, billion-dollar businesses. And my thought was, when you bring women together, not only to learn the investing process, but to select companies together where we're all excited to support the founder, that's so much more powerful than like a same check from one John Smith, right? Because you have an empire of bad bitches behind you. And, at the core of Bad Bitch Empire is really my book, The Bad Bitch Business Bible, which birthed it. And the Bad Bitch Business Bible is all about breaking free of good girl brainwashing. And good girl brainwashing is all of the societal and media messages that train women to play small, stay silent, and be subordinate to the status quo. Good girl habits like people pleasing, perfectionism, staying quiet and not advocating for your worth, not asserting your boundaries, letting people disrespect you, and just not getting paid what your real value is. And so it's all about going from good girl to bad bitch in business, because being a good girl might get you a good job. It might get you a pat on the head. But if you want to be a leader, you have to move into that bad bitch mentality. And I define a bad bitch as a woman who unapologetically takes charge of her body, her boundaries, and her bank account. A bad bitch knows what she wants. She goes after what she wants, and she always gets it, because that's what she does. She doesn't chase, she attracts, she magnetizes, and like with the right intention and supporting other women along the way, she creates that empire. She gets that support for everything that she's doing. And I think as I've built this out, I've learned so many lessons about putting yourself out there unapologetically as a powerful woman, because man, this world does not make it easy for you to step into your power. They will call you names, you'll have haters, you'll have critics, you'll have people telling you that you're too, aggressive, too assertive, too opinionated. And that's usually what they call a bitch, right? And I realized that that's not a woman that's not a bitch in the bad sense. That's just a woman who knows her power. That's just a woman who has opinions. That's just a woman who speaks up for herself. That's just a woman who doesn't tolerate bullshit and walks away from disrespect, and she knows her value. And that's That's being a bad bitch.
I absolutely love that because that's exactly what society tells us, right? And we are so, just like you say, like we're so used to that when somebody steps up in the room and asks questions and has their own opinions and have this, just like you say, like this attraction or this vibe, people look at her like, who is she? Who she thinks she is. No, I'm just a woman who know what I want and why am I here, right? So I think just like you say, so you think like the key is to really understand what you want and just totally, just be unapologetically about what you want and go for it, right?
It's about knowing your truth. It's about knowing what you stand for, what your purpose is, what you're here on this earth to do, what you will and will not tolerate. So many women tolerate disrespectful behavior. We tolerate, mediocre men. We settle for breadcrumbs. We just settle. And the hallmark of a good girl is she settles. And that's why, number one, I have, this is my bad bitch pendant on the back. It has the slogan, which is bad bitches never settle. We don't settle for, disrespectful behavior. We don't settle for mediocrity. We don't settle for average. We don't settle for, less pay. We don't settle for anything that's beneath the life that we know that we're meant to live. And when every woman stops settling and thinking, the bare minimum is okay, then that's when we really start to rise up and say, like, I'm gonna stand in my power. And I don't care if you don't like it, because I know what my truth is, and that's my North Star.
Absolutely. And it is okay if a lot of people don't like it, because at the same time, just like you say, you start attracting your tribe, the people that agree with you and like you. And at the end of the day, that's the people that you want to be surrounded with. So I love that part. And you talk about you help women raise over $50 million. So what do you believe separates women who all have been very successful raising capital from others without that haven't been successful, especially raising capital? That is not an easy thing to do.
So I think 80% of it has to do with your energy and your own perception of your idea and your business and yourself. There's so much work that needs to be done to reprogram women's subconscious relationship with money, because we've been brought into a male dominated, a patriarchal world where we're literally taught scarcity. They brainwash scarcity and competition and fear into us. So even when we think about, we say women don't take as much risks, like we're more risk averse. I don't think that's true at all. That's just another narrative that's been perpetuated, because like we take plenty of risks every single day. Like even as a woman, you're walking down the street at night alone, that's a massive risk, and when mothers give birth, like that's a huge risk. Like we risk ourselves for other people, for our loved ones. We take a lot of risks. And so I think in the same way, when you think about, we've had this narrative of like raising money is really, really hard. And if that's the belief that it's really hard, then of course it's going to be really hard. And I think it comes back to thinking about, like, so I'll give an example of one woman who came up to pitch, and she did our bad bitch pitch for our venture fund. And I saw her pitch deck beforehand, and I was excited to hear from her. And she comes on and she's just like, I'm sorry, I've just been feeling really sick lately, so please excuse my voice, whatever. And I'm like, she just lost the pitch. Like just the moment she came on and she said, I'm sorry for existing. I'm sorry for my health. I'm sorry. Like it was apologetic behavior. So, from the perspective of, if I believe, I'm looking for bad bitch energy. I'm looking for a woman who's like, I'm going to fight for my dream. I'm going to have haters, and I'm going to have like, moments where I like feel like I'm in the pits of despair, but I want the woman who's like, I'm gonna get up, I'm a warrior, like, screw the haters, like this is my vision, we're gonna keep pushing, I'm gonna convince people of what I see. Because part of it is, I need to know you're a good fundraiser. I know you gotta back yourself before anybody else backs you. And so if you're coming on immediately being like, I'm so sorry, apologies for da, da, da." I'm like, you're still brainwashed. You're still in that good girl mentality. So what you need before you can take capital is you need coaching. And that's why so much of my coaching, I coach female entrepreneurs. I coach, women who are starting brands. I coach women who are like transitioning in their careers. And they're like, I feel this calling in my heart to do something bigger, but I don't know what it is and I don't feel fulfilled. And it's like, if you want to raise money, if you want to make sales, if you want to bring in clients, if you want to bring in customers, if you want to bring in sponsors, like literally money, right? You have to have that sort of mentality of like, it's inevitable. I already have it. So if you don't want to give it to me, like someone else will. So don't waste my time. Right. So many women also like, because let's say I think a lot of male investors do this. They'll be like, dangle it. They're like, oh, what's the idea? Why don't you come out with me for drinks and we can talk about it more? And you're like, and I think again, the woman who knows what she's worth, and she's like, listen, I'm not going to entertain this whatever, pony show to just like go have dinner and drinks with you. Like, I'm a founder raising money. Yes or no? You in or you out? Because if it's not you, I'm moving on. Yeah. And I think that having that really like clear boundary, that's just a woman who knows her worth. And a lot of women are afraid to be like that because they're afraid to be bitchy. And so that's why it's like this encouragement of like, being a bitch doesn't mean being mean. Like, being a bad bitch means you respect yourself, you respect your time, you respect your body, you respect your value. And when you respect it and you believe it, that's when the money comes.
Absolutely. I love that because everything, like, even if deep inside we don't believe on the product, on ourselves, on everything, like people sense it. Just like you say, is energy, and you can never outsell that part. So you have to fully, first of all, love yourself, being okay with yourself, feel confident about what you're doing and why are you doing it, so you can push every boundary, and of course the deal, the pitch, whatever you're doing. So I love that part. And that brings a little bit to the next question about what it really means to be a bad bitch, right? You talk a little bit about it, but how could women redefine that for themselves without an apology or shame?
So one question I asked myself for almost a decade was, who is the most powerful and authentic version of me? And remember, I grew up as a deeply insecure, introverted. I literally could not speak up in a classroom. I was so afraid of my voice, so afraid of what other people would think about me. What if I got the answer wrong? What if I sound stupid? And so I stayed silent and I just worked harder. And I like, that's who I was. And then when people meet me today, they're like, there's no way you were that. And I was like, that was a lot of hard work, like layer, removing all the layers of like, what are all the things that I've been brainwashed to believe that are just not true. I believed that I was, that if the reason I couldn't speak up in class is because I thought, oh, maybe I don't have a good enough answer. Maybe my idea is stupid. And I was like, well, what if I just decided like my ideas are great? I am ready. I am way more than good enough. And I chose a different internal narrative than the one that just is currently in my head, because maybe those aren't my voices. Those are not the voices of my most powerful and authentic self. That might be the voice of the fear of my parents, of my community, of the culture, of the religion, of media, of like whatever. And it's just like they just fed me this, like incepted these ideas into my brain, and I just didn't question the operating system. So when I started questioning it, and I was like, I feel like there's this part of me that knows there's something so much more inside. And I just had to break through this wall of like good girl brainwashing. And so at some point, you just need to realize, like, I'm going to wake the F up. Like, I have one life to live. I am not going to live my life according to trying to please people who aren't even like, who don't even care about you, right? Who perhaps they're not paying you. They're not investing in you. They're not like, they're just eyeballs on like the internet. And you feel like, I hope they don't think I'm like this. I hope they don't judge me like that. And then one day you're like, screw it. They can judge me all they want. Yeah. But it's more important to me to become the version of me. So I say that the most powerful and confident version of you is the most authentic version of you. It's not the version of you that you're like, no, but if you say, but I self-sabotage a lot, or like I doubt my ideas. And it's really hard for me to speak up. It's really hard for me to negotiate. It's like I always don't feel like I'm enough. Like, okay, stop. Like literally stop that loop in your head and just reverse. If you say I can't, say I can. If you say I'm not ready, say I believe in myself. Like just like you, it's almost like we have to like if our minds have been spinning this one way, we need to be like, wait, let's literally spin the
Breaks.
opposite way and like realize that our own minds are gaslighting us.
Absolutely. Everything starts here, and that's also the only control that we have. We can't control what people think about us on internet, family, friends, nobody. The only thing that we can control is what's in our own head and how are we gonna transfer or switch gears on that. So I love that. And also another part that you just mentioned is talk about being enoughness as a power, as a superpower. How can women cultivate that sense of worthiness before success shows on our lives on the project?
Well, ultimately, it's rooted in self-love. The amount of women who not just don't love themselves, but hate themselves. Like when you wake up in the morning and you go in front of the mirror, do you love yourself or do you hate yourself? Do you immediately look for like that one wrinkle, the one pimple, the one gray hair? You're like, my skin is, you start criticizing your skin or your weight or whatever. It starts there, like literally the moment you wake up and how you talk to yourself. So in my book, The Bad Bitch Business Bible, I have actually a really powerful chapter all about your body. And, I say, what does your body have to do with business? And I was like, it has everything to do with everything, because if you don't love your body and yourself, how do you think you can raise money? Like, how do you think you're going to be successful when you literally just don't even like yourself? So it needs to start from the foundation, which is our relationship to ourselves. And in the book, I talk about the bad bitch boot camp I had women go through, and part of this was the self-love challenge. And one part of that challenge was to have them stand in front of their mirrors, like your own mirror at home, strip down naked and look at yourself, like look yourself in the eye reflection from like scan all the way from the top of your head all the way down to your feet, and just notice every time you like want to say something negative about yourself. And like women broke down crying because they're like, oh shit, like I really don't like myself. I hear all the mean things I say to myself. Like I'm literally my own biggest hater, and we wonder why we might attract toxic people into our lives. It's because we're already tolerating that in our own minds, the way we speak to ourselves. Because a woman who deeply respects herself, if she attracts, let's say, a narcissistic man into her life, or just, someone who's going to shame her, and she has changed her internal narrative to be like, I'm the shit, I love myself, I love my body, I am powerful, like my life is amazing. And then you attract some toxic person into your life who starts shaming you. You're like, ew, like you can catch it immediately, and you're like, no, get out of my life. And so that's like the boundaries, right? The boundaries start with self-love. When people say like, how do I assert my boundaries? How do I protect, my energy and whatever? It's like, it needs to come from a place of instinct. Like you don't need to even like think, how do I do this? It's like you love and respect yourself so deeply that if someone were to disrespect you, you're like, it's an automatic reaction. Like, no, like, absolutely not.
I love that part. Absolutely. I totally agree. And I feel like all of us feel related because at least at one point we have cut ourselves, being our own hater, being in our, most critical person about different things. I think all of us, nobody's perfect, of course, and we'll have our flaws, but we are the ones pointing and saying, because of this I don't qualify, because of this Ed Milet says what disqualifies you actually qualifies you. And embracing that part and turning that into love and respect for yourself, it is a journey, but definitely you come on the other side as a bad bitch. So I love that part. And tell us a little bit about the Bad Bitch program. I know we both share that passion to help women and support them uplifting. So tell us more about your community. You have built this amazing community. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, so this is a perfect time to talk about it because it's also evolving because the brand evolves with me. And it started out as an investing community teaching. We had the Bad Bitch Bitcoin boot camp, then we had the Bad Bitch Angel Investor boot camp teaching women how to invest in startups. Then we had this venture fund. And the entrepreneurial side, that's where my Bad Bitch business coaching has come in, helping women build out their brands, be unapologetic about the products and services they're creating, learning how to sell, how to close unapologetically, and how to really like build their own empires. Now, the other thing is we're like, there's a new program that's coming out soon within coaching, and it's actually within dating and relationship coaching for bad bitches, for powerful women. And it has come from so many conversations with women who now they're like, I know how to crush it. Like I know how to do this thing professionally, but I have no clue. Like it's like one fail after another fail after another fail in like dating and relationships, because it's like the very energy that you needed to become successful and hustled is the exact opposite energy to like learn how to receive and to be able to like receive support, receive blessings. So many of us have learned to like just fight and hustle and just like be fully in our masculine. And there's this really interesting balance that comes from bad bitch energy, which is like, again, I've talked about that self-respect, that self-love that is still like deeply feminine. And it's almost like the opposite of when you think like bitchy in the negative sense, which people think like cold, masculine, assertive, like angry. And it's like when you're in like bad bitch energy, it's like abundance. I know everything's gonna work out already, and it can be playful. It's about like the universe has my back. I don't need to fight. If this person falls off, they're meant to fall off. Okay, moving on. It's like just a lightness that comes when you trust yourself and you trust the universe, and you're like, as long as I keep moving forward with intention, the right people, the right king is going to come, who's going to want to build my empire with me. And so that's also been a big part of my own journey, evolving from, even though I was like out there crushing it as a bad bitch, like I evolved from dating a toxic, narcissistic, abusive man, and then healed from that, and attracted. I like really did the inner work, just like the same way I did the inner work to go from good girl to bad bitch, introverted to extroverted, insecure to confident. I was like, I gotta change what I'm attracting here. I gotta change my picker. And the person you choose as a life partner, especially as a powerful woman, is the most important choice. And I think especially if we're purpose-driven women and we choose good men who, we're breaking generational cycles. We are changing bloodlines. We are changing the way sons and daughters will relate to women and respect women. And so I think a lot of this work is also going to fall into bad bitch empire, because you got bad bitches crushing it in investing, bad bitches crushing it in business, and then you need like bad bitches like who also have love, like really fulfilling love, and that's when like I think everything else blooms. And I think experiencing that personally as someone who's been really independent. I just got married in January, so it's also very new. But being like, wow, this is what it feels like when you've got like someone else like really has your back and is expansive and supportive and like amplifies what you're doing. Like I didn't even believe that before. Where I was like, I don't need men to do it. But now, like I really see how balance can help you grow even more.
Yeah, I absolutely love that because I can totally relate to that part. Just like you say, like we're so caught up on business and I can do it and let's hustle. And I also like kind of like took a break personally, like 3 years, like not dating and just, focus on the business, but also working a lot on myself on that part. Like, and I realized like once you are at your highest level of femininity, like you can also attract a masculine man. And you just like you say, like we don't have to live in our masculinity. like bad bitch is not being the masculine side. Like we also need to let men be men and help and support and provide. It doesn't matter what we're doing or how we're building things. Like just give men their, the way that they are, because that's how naturally they are masculine, and they want to take care of us, they want to support, and being open to that. It is a process, but definitely it is amazing having a man that totally has your back and supports you, believes in you, kind of like your biggest cheerleader. So I love that part. So yeah, it is a process, but definitely you get to attract the right person. Yeah. So I love that part about Bad Beach Empire. You are covering every area. So that's amazing. Anything else that you want to talk about Bad Beach Empire? I mean, you have evolved a lot, and in terms of you, like you have built this, and of course you have changed women and helped them on every area of their lives. But what has been the most impactful part for you building this community?
I mean, it's two things. It's one is the woman I'm becoming. I'm really loving the journey of how I have had to level up and evolve. And, to be the leader of the Bad Bitch Empire is sometimes feels like a lot of pressure because I'm like, how can I always be powerful and strong? And then I realize, I get to be human too. And that's part of me embracing, all sides of myself when I'm vulnerable, when I feel tired, when I feel like, you don't need to be perfect. So I think part of that was like learning how to let the armor go. I feel like perhaps when I had launched the Bad Bitch Empire, part of this like emphasis on like power was because there's a part of me that still felt powerless, right? And that's why I think building businesses is always so interesting. It's always a mirror. It's like I think of business building as a spiritual journey. Like you discover who you are, especially when you're a founder. And I think as I grew within this brand and within this empire, I started just like learning how to embrace the chaotic, the messy, the imperfect, the like vulnerable parts of me that that's the process of the self-love. I was like, that's really where the bad bitch energy comes from, when it's not just that I like the parts of me that are, powerful and performing and on stage and everything else, but when I'm also like all those moments that nobody else sees, that I'm still embodying it. That even when I'm having a breakdown and I'm crying, I'm still like wipe my tears and like I'm still a bad bitch. Like it's not like that's a weakness or anything. So yeah, I think that's been that. And of course, coaching women and seeing their own transformation, like as I feel like when I go through stuff, it's almost like I'm learning it so that I can teach it to more women. Like I can, now that I've learned that, I can very clearly also help women see like when you're having a breakdown, I can remind you like that doesn't make you any less of a bad bitch. That's just part of life and you evolving. And so releasing the shame, we've been conditioned with shame. Like we're shamed for our being like too emotional. We're shamed for being like too provocative. If you dare to like feel beautiful and sexy, we're shamed for being like too outspoken, shamed for being too much, shamed for being not enough. Like it's just like endless. And so when you remove the layers of shame, which is what this brand has really like forced me to do, it's like, if you're gonna be the bad bitch empress, you better walk the walk. So let's just put you through all these tests so you learn how to rise and like go through it and come out stronger.
I love that part. Just having that community, and I think when we show our vulnerable side, just like you said, we have rough days, we have rough seasons, transitions, a lot of things, and especially on business and on our personal, professional lives. But when we show like what we're going through on the vulnerable side, that's when people can really relate to us, because people can see you on the stage and the bad bitch and oh my gosh, she's crushing it, and they don't realize that you're also going through a lot, and you also had to pretty much unlearn or pick up yourself and start again, right? So when they see you on that transition, it's like, oh, I'm not the only one. I thought she was perfect and she has all the confidence and everything was going great for her. Like, no, we are also going through this and learning and evolving. So that's super powerful.
Yeah. Like even my ability to now talk openly about the like abusive relationship that I was in, because I originally felt so much shame. And I think a lot of women who come out of these like very bad relationships who are smart and successful and powerful and then just got like tricked into a relationship with a guy who showed his true colors down the road. You get out of it and you feel a lot of shame and a lot of guilt and a lot of blaming yourself. But I think even that, like overcoming that, I realized there's a reason I had to go through that. And because of part of my mission and purpose in life is to liberate women, to free women. It's freeing them from their shame. Like I now have so much empathy for women who end up in abusive situations, because I was like, I get it now. I get how a very intelligent woman can still fall into something bad and just not even realize it. And so even more so, the ability to talk about that without shame. It's like that doesn't define me. It's like the woman I am now, who is smarter, more intuitive, can spot red flags, has increased my value, raised my standards, like know who the F I am, that I will never tolerate that sort of behavior from a man again. Like and I've noticed how my like bullshit detector is so much like clearer and sensitive. So I think all of these things, if you feel shame about something or like regret about something that happened in your past, like dig into that, because that's actually where your superpower might be hidden.
Love that. That is so good. I love the part that you said your bullshit detector. It is so true. With age comes wisdom. And so having that radar at, sooner versus later in your journey is a good thing.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we are on the final part. This has been an amazing. We all have learned so much. I don't know if you guys have any questions. And also, please let us know. There's a lot of people watching the replay and listening on different platforms. Tell us what's the best way to connect with you.
So the best way to connect with me is I'm on every single social platform. So Instagram, LinkedIn, at my full name, Lisa Carmen Wang. So I share different content on my Instagram versus on LinkedIn. So you can see I'm actually embarking on a creative journey that will come out soon. And badbitchempire.com. That's for sure. You can check out the podcast, Bad Bitch Empire. So I'm recording a new season now. So the new episode, which is going to be a really fire episode, is coming out next week. So make sure to subscribe to Bad Bitch Empire as the podcast, badbitchempire.com, to get on the newsletter where you'll get announcements. If you're interested in investing in startups, you can apply to join the Bad Bitch Empire Fund. And also, if you're interested in bringing me in to speak, whether that's for your company or for your group, you can go to lisacarmenwang.com, and there's a contact form there directly.
And is your
Awesome.
book available on the
Oh,
website, or how?
yeah. So the book, The Bad Bitch Business Bible, is on Amazon. It's on Barnes and Noble. So you can definitely get it there. And I believe that it's also linked on the website, Bad Bitch Empire, and my personal website.
Right. It's a wonderful book, and I highly recommend everyone pick up a copy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Candace, for bringing Lisa. Thank you, Lisa, for tonight. It's amazing what you're building and how much you are impacting all of us. So thank you for paving the way. I'm just really quick. I'm gonna share. Be sure to stay connected with us. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, every social media out there. So stay connected. And if you are in Dubai, be sure to connect with us. We're hosting an event in Dubai May 11th. So reach out to us, connect with us, stay tuned. And I'm going to pass it on back to you, Lisa. Any last words of advice for everybody listening?
Oh, so many pieces of advice. Listen to the Bad Bitch Empire podcast, for sure. But I always say that a woman steps into her full power not when she's finally given permission to do so, but when she realizes she never needed permission in the first place. So don't wait for anybody to give you permission to do what you want to do. You know, it's, you can wake up tomorrow and decide to be a totally different person. So there's, if you are someone who likes to wear pink and you're like, I'm just the kind of person who wears pink, but deep down, you really want to wear yellow. You're just never, you want to wear yellow and you want to wear leather and you want to wear, you're like, that's the real me. Like you can just wake up and decide to wear yellow and leather, even though everyone is used to seeing you in pink. And that's like, you could start with that, like your wardrobe. It's just like, what is like the most powerful, badass, confident, sexy, unapologetic version of me? What does she want to wear? What does she want to say? What does she want to eat? Who does she want to hang out with? And start, you know, developing, like becoming that woman.
Love that. Love that advice. Cut your hair,
Yes.
color your hair, do whatever you want to
Yes.
Yeah. There's a stat that like when women color their hair wild colors like pink or purple or blue, it scares men. Like they like don't really want to, but it's like scary to them because you're like choosing something that is for you and not for the male gaze. So it's like those little things like that where it's like when women start dressing for themselves and they're like, I like it, not like, will he think it's appropriate? Will he think it's pleasing? Will he think it's, which so often we're brainwashed to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think like all of us, we have an area that we can say, you know, tomorrow or today I'm going to start doing this that I've been just putting on the back of my head. So thank you so much for that reminder, for that challenge. And it was a pleasure meeting you. It was a pleasure talking with you today. I look forward to join you in one of your events and let's stay connected. And thank you so much for tonight. Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.